Hello everyone, happy Wednesday. My name is Alyssa Thomas from Penguin and Fish, where we make lovely and quirky hand embroidery kits. And I am here every weeknight at 8:30 p.m. Central Time. And it's a time where we can relax and craft together and work on a project together. And I typically work on the projects from beginning to end. So you can be part of the whole process along the way, work on one with me, and just come and chit chat. So tonight, you guys, we are on the last step of our blocks for the Triangle Tango Quilt. So this is one of our finished blocks. Here is the quilt right here. So one of those blocks is like one of these tiny triangles here. So this is actually a king-size quilt. It's from the Missouri Star Quilt Co, one of their block publications. I threw a link below here if you wanted to check out the pattern. Again, here is that block. So all we have to do, this one is done. So all we have to do is put this 8.5-inch strip on this whole stack of them. So that is our last step. We just have to put the 8.5-inch strip down this edge here. That is a big old stack. This is 167 of them here with our one finished one that will make 168, and that is what we're going to use for our quilt. So I'm hoping that we will get at least halfway done sewing these strips on. They are all cut, ready to go. Here are our strips, and it's just gonna be a night of chain piecing where we just sew one strip and then another one and another one and another one, so we have everything just connected in one long chain on the sewing machine. That is the plan for tonight. I think Thursday, we will finish sewing and hopefully start pressing, and then Friday we will finish pressing, which means our blocks are done. Then next week we will start up on the Splendid Sampler 2 again. And, we'll be hopping back and forth for a little while in between projects. So, all right, let's get sewing. I'm going to flip you around. Thanks for joining me, everyone. All right, here we are. I'm going to actually cruise right down here to the sewing machine. So I'm going to do that thing again like I did with the 6.5-inch strips where I have my strips on one side. Here we go, and I have my stack on the other. So I have this all facing the same direction. So I'm going to sew. We're basically framing the patterned piece. So I'm going to sew from here down to here, and then we're framing. The sashing should be on the side where that patterned piece is. So that is the plan. All right, I already have a leader on here. Let's take off my shoe. It's always weird sewing with shoes on. So, all right, I'm gonna get a little back farther so you can see hair more here, I think. All right, so I'm gonna grab from this pile and grab from this pile, and we will meet in the middle here. So I am not using any pins. I'm just gonna line up the top edge and the side edge and just kind of start. And then I'm gonna kind of grab the ends and I'm gonna put those two ends together. And I'm gonna just hold it there as if my fingers are a pin. And with this hand, I'm just gonna kind of adjust just to make sure my edges are always lined up. And I'll kind of use this as my hand as a pin here too. And we're just gonna cruise through here. I think it would take too long to actually use pins, and I don't think I really need them here. So we're skipping them. I think with a project like this, it's a lot bigger than the blocks that we've been doing for the Splendid Sampler, and it doesn't, in theory, need to be as perfect. It's still going to work out. It's still going to be fine. But I am just trying to line up those top edges. This one's gone over the edge a little bit, so I'm going to kind of equal, just kind of err on the side of where this one is, this pattern piece is. Line those guys all up, and we're off. my pedal is on the floor, all the way down. There, and we're just gonna keep on going. Next up, Fussel. Thanks again for joining me tonight, everyone. Oh man, I saw my mom just popped in and I had just texted her that I just had a piece of caramel before coming on here. And it's not like I have just caramel all the time, but when my husband, John, and my dad did their glass blowing class this past weekend, it was actually in the same building as a chocolate manufacturer, a chocolate and caramel manufacturer, and they were having a sale of, you know, I don't know, some of the chocolate and caramel they were trying to get rid of, and so Mom and I bought a pile of chocolate and caramel, and oh my God, I just had a piece of the caramel tonight, and I had to text her because it was so yummy. But yeah, so that was a fun bonus of the weekend. I've never been. They kind of had a little room, the chocolate place, where they were selling this stuff. So we didn't actually get to go where they were making it and stuff. But that would be cool. I wonder if they have a tour or something. Are you glad you didn't do the stained glass class? Yeah. Am I glad I didn't do the glass class with my with John and Dad? Because otherwise I wouldn't have gone to get chocolate and caramel. Oh, the trade-offs. Oh man. John was thinking about taking the next glass course though. We'll see how it goes. I don't know if he'll end up doing that or not, but I think he had a really, really, really good time. Oh, and I just finished the second Anna Green Gables books. I've been kind of reading them again. I own copies of them from when I was little, and I have them all still, and I thought they'd be fun to read again, so I just finished the second one, and they're just so sweet and comforting and nice. So it was fun to read through that again. Bonnie says that she hopes I stirred all the calories out of the caramel. I don't know. Don't know if I did that. I feel like I'm burning all the calories by having to put on my scarf and coat and gloves every day still. It just rained all day again today, and ugh, it's cold and boo. You love reading the classics over and over again. Yeah, Gina, it just really is just kind of sweet to read that series again. And it's even just fun to see my book plates in the beginning. Do you guys remember those? Maybe that's still a thing, I don't know. But I remember when I love reading, you know, I read all the time when I was younger, but I would love going to the bookstore and getting book plates where it's just those square stickers, you know, with something fun on them, some design, and it says like, this book belongs to, and then you get to write your name in there and you stick it in the front of your book. All of my Anna Green Gables books, at least the ones so far, we'll see what they are as I keep reading through them, but so far, the first 3 are some Garfield book plates from when I was little. I like Garfield too. So it's fun seeing those again in there too. I get rid of some books, but I gotta keep those ones. Gotta keep those classics. Oh, I know. Aren't these ponies so sweet? I really like them too. This is a really sweet collection. Oh, yours had a cat looking. Oh, Kathy, I think I had those too. So Kathy says that her book plates had a cat looking down a stack of books. I definitely, if not that one, I got a very similar to one to that too. It was always exciting when you finished your stack of book plates and gotta get another. You gotta pick out another little stack of stickers. Man, now I kind of want to get some more book plates. Except for now I'm checking out more library books. I must have bought a lot of books then. I wanted the like book. I got a lot of paperbacks. Nowadays they're all hardcovers and super expensive, so I suppose my $6 that I paid for a little paperback, or maybe they were like $4.99 or something, wasn't that bad. And I got a little extra for the book plate. You loved his saying, Garfield saying, "Diet is die with a T." Nice. When I see the comics in, we don't get the paper, but every once in a while I'll see the paper and it still has comics, and I'll always look at Garfield first. Oh, yours had a girl in a tree. Your book plates had a girl in a tree reading a book. See, book plates were totally a thing, weren't they? I don't think they're still a thing. Do you hear people talk about book plates anymore? I don't know. Is that like an 80s thing? I don't know. I haven't looked for them in a bookstore for a long time. Maybe they're still there. I'll have to peek next time I'm there. Oh, that's true. Nolene says pony fabric's hard to find. It's usually unicorns. I do have a link, I think, here for the designer of that collection. It's a Moda designer, and then all these moons and stuff are from Robert Kaufman. Oh, Kathy, thank you so much. Yeah, you guys, so I only have a couple of fat quarter bundles left, and that's it for all my fabric. I used to design fabric several years ago, and I always get a bunch of fabric and put it in fat quarter bundles, and I only have, gosh, I think I only have like maybe 8. I only have Serengeti Beasties left. All the other collections are gone. And I think I only have like maybe 2. I think maybe 2 of the orange Serengeti Beasties, and I think I still might have like 7 or 8 of the pale blue. Well, that's it for all my fabric, and we've been talking about that a little over the past couple days. It almost feels like time to start designing them again. Oh, you purchased one of each. Thanks so much, Robin. Yeah, so after they're gone, I'll be taking that fabric section off of the website, because that's it for now, at least. And for now, since it takes over a year for a fabric collection to get produced and made, typically, it'll be at least that long before there's more fabric there, and I'm not lined up to be designing with anybody right now or anything, so a minimum of a year, probably way more than that, before fabric will be there again. Oh, Robin, is it your birthday? Happy birthday. That's exciting. That age is nothing. All right, shimmying along here. This is the part where I feel like I've been sewing for a long time, but I only have like 10 done. Oh, congrats, Robin! That's exciting. Happy birthday! I'm excited to be on this last little part. Actually, it's not really the last part. We still got all that pressing to do. And, you know, we got the whole rest of the... We got to sew all the rows together and, you know, the rest of the quilt. But I'm pretending that we're almost done with the actual blocks, and that's exciting. It's our last pieces of fabric sewn together for the block. Does the Missouri Star Quilt Co pattern have side and top strips on their half square triangles? Oh yeah, it's just like this. So Sharon, I'm following the, except for how I cut out my how I made my cut out my half square triangles and my strips, except for because they used a jelly roll for the strips and they used a layer cake for the half square triangles. Other than that, I'm doing it exactly like how the pattern has it. So at this point, I'm doing everything the same as the pattern. Do I design first and then look for a contract? I think that is the typical process. So that's for a fabric collection, Jenna's asking. That for the future is probably how I'd go about looking again. I'd probably show some new like ideas for a collection, or I'd probably design a whole new collection, honestly. I think fabric manufacturers probably want to do as little as work as possible. So if I can show a whole collection that's ready to go, then I think they'd probably like that. So I would probably design a collection, or maybe even two, and then show previous work and stuff. So yeah, I probably would before contacting a place. And a lot of times they'll have requirements on their website for new designers. Oh, you didn't see the strips in her tranquil triangles. Oh, okay, so this isn't the tranquil triangles. This is the Triangle Tango. So it's a different pattern than that. This is the Triangle Tango Quilt. Try Riley Blake. Yeah, I'll have to look into them. They do cute stuff. Cute, 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 cute. How many designs in a collection? So it varies, but when I was doing it previously, I did 6 designs and in 3 different colorways. So, you know, like for this sun, for example, like this is one design, but you know, here is an additional colorway for it. So it's the same design, just different colors. And what that means is that all different colors means like wherever there's orange, it's going to be replaced by a different color. Or wherever there's white, it will be replaced by a different color. You can't like use a different amount of colors. It has to be the same amount of colors, really. And if you think about it as each color is like a screen print, so each color is just a pass with like a screen with holes in the screen where the ink will go. You have to think about that. So like, yeah, like I said, if you want to change this orange, you can't just change this one little bit of orange. You have to change every single bit of orange, and it all has to be changed the same color. So that's like another colorway. So, but you know, it totally varies. You know, sometimes if it's like a fun basic, like a polka dot or something, or like something that would be good in a bunch of different colors and be a good fill fabric for a quilt or whatever, then sometimes they'll do them in a whole pile of different colors, so it'll be more than the 18, so 6 designs and 3 different colorways. If I were to pitch a new collection to a place, I would do 6 designs that all go together, that feel like they would fit, that live in the same quilt with each other. So some would be like stars of the fabric collection, and then you'd have like coordinating little bits that would feel good with the collection, but maybe not be the star piece, would be like the nice fill. So I would probably think about it like that. Although some collections are way more and some are way less amount of fabrics. And I suppose that depends on who the manufacturer is and I don't know what their goals are for their sales team and all that sort of stuff. We wish someone would reinvent the toile design. They're fun but need more modernization. I kind of feel like Tula Pink stuff is a lot like a modern toile. But yeah, I guess all bright colors. It's not all one color usually. Oh, the Tranquil triangles have the 2.5 inch strips, but it's a smaller quilt. Yeah, this has it on 2 sides. This is it doesn't go all the way around. This is just on 2 sides like this too. I think the interesting bit about this quilt, the Triangle Tango, is how they're rotated in the rows. So we're not that far yet. But I think that's where like the design that makes it just kind of fun will come through. Ooh, you like the dusty looking colorways. I really do too, Gretchen. These end tips together a little bit better. Oh, you're almost up to me with this quilt. Nice, Kathy. That probably means you'll surpass me pretty dang quick here. Hoping we can get kind of far. I'm thinking I won't have to redo the bobbin again, so that's good, since we just replaced the bobbin. Thinking we'll last through piecing these blocks. Cruising, cruising, cruising. I think we're gonna get a lot done tonight. I'm excited to have these all pressed and in a nice big stack of blocks all ready to go. So next time we have a Finish It Friday, which is coming up, you guys. It's not, gosh, actually, when is it? When is the first Friday of June? It's not next week, it's the week after, right? I think we have, gosh, now I don't know. So either next week or the week after will be the first week or the first Friday of June. Hopefully it feels a little more summery then. But anyway, that's when we do our Finish It Friday. And I think for that, we will probably come back to this and lay it all out on the ground and get our rows figured out. I was thinking about making it totally random, like just picking from a pile, but I think I'll lay out the whole thing on the floor first. Oh, it is next week. Oh my gosh, Bonnie. I think I'll lay it all on the floor first because there's only 7 fabrics in this collection. Oh, June 1st is Saturday. Okay, so I get a whole nother week. Okay, so we'll have another week of the Splendid Sampler 2 then before jumping to this. Okay, that's good. But yeah, so that Finish It Friday, I'm putting it out there. For that, we will be laying out this whole quilt on the ground and deciding where things go. But yeah, because there's only 8 different fabrics that I have in this quilt, different patterns, there's a good chance that they'll be similar ones close to each other, and I want to like right next to each other, and I kind of want to avoid that. So I think I'm going to have to lay it all out and then adjust the areas where they're close together. So I think I'm going to be picky about it, or a little bit more than usual, I suppose. But yeah, I'd like to get to the point where I have it all laid out on the floor, and then I can pick up each row in order and then number them. So I'll put like row number 1 and row number 2. Ooh, I'll also lay them out how they suggest in the directions too. I want them all in the correct rotation as well. So what I'll probably do is just lay them all out first without rotating them, just because I want to just trade spots more easily. So I'll lay them all out in the same direction, which will actually probably be really pretty like that. And then once we have it so none of the same patterns are touching each other, then I'll go through each row and rotate them. So that'll actually take some time, I think. But yeah, so that'll be a Finish It Friday. I'm hoping we'll crank through it. I'll be crawling all over the floor and bending over and all that, so have to exercise get some back muscles going before then. Get some yoga stretching in. Yeah, so I think if it's anything like how the 6-inch strips or 6.5-inch strips were, I think we're only going to get about halfway done with this tonight. I hope we get at least that far. I know, isn't this fabric just the sweetest? It's cute. I really like these dark sunshines. These are like suns in the solar system in space. Ooh, Robin, that sounds like fun. Husband's bringing Robin to a quilt shop, a new quilt shop. New to her quilt shop. Yeah, yeah, exactly, Glennis. I think if I ever again, if I ever live somewhere else, I'm gonna need a giant wall with like a little ladder, and that wall is gonna be covered with batting or flannel or whatever, so it can be a design wall. Cause yeah, I'd rather have that than be crawling all over the floor some more. But that's what we'll be doing, crawling on some floors. Oh, my little 8-inch strips are stuck together. Just gotta make sure I don't accidentally sew 2 of them onto one of these, because I think I have the exact number of these strips that I need. I had 2 extra with the 6.5-inch ones, but I think we cut the exact that we needed here. Oh, Barbara, glad you're here. I'm still kind of thinking about that caramel. I'm gonna need to eat more of that when we're done here, I think. So the chocolate company that I'm talking about, it's BT, like initials, BT McElrath chocolate, and it's made local in Minneapolis here. And I think their caramel is under a different name, even though I think it's the same company. I think it was called Annie B's. So like Annie, ANNIE, and then B, period, apostrophe S or whatever, like another initial. What is the Granny Squares project? So that is a project that I'm hoping that we'll work on soon here. So we're cranking out this quilt. This was a random quilt that I just started out of the blue. This one wasn't planned, but we'll be done with it pretty quickly as far as quilts go. And then we'll be working on the Splendid Sampler 2 for a while. I think now I'm going to start peppering projects in with the Splendid Sampler 2 on and off. And the Granny Square quilt will be one of those. That's a quilt I've been wanting to do for a while and just haven't started it yet. We did the second Splendid Sampler kind of instead. And along with that, I'd like to do more embroidery projects and more smaller sewing projects as well. And again, that'll happen all within us working on the Splendid 2 sampler, I think. Because it's just, that's a really big project, and some of these other projects will be nice little breaks. So we'll be dual projecting for a little while here. That's good. We'll do it as long as we're feeling it. The back and forth. Oh no, I'm not going to sell a pattern for the Granny Square quilt. I have a link to it here. I forget who the designer is, but it's on the All People Quilt website, I believe. Oh gosh, now I'm feeling like I might be wrong on that too. But I do have a link at the bottom here for it, so you can check it out. But yeah, it's not my pattern. It's just really cute, and I want to I want to do it. I actually would love to crochet a granny square Afghan, which is what the, oops, sorry, that was loud, which is what the pattern is kind of, you know, modeled after, like a granny square Afghan. That could be kind of fun. Doing the granny square quilt and then doing a little crochet lesson on actual granny squares. That would be kind of neat. That's a good kind of learn to crochet project. We'd make like a little pillow or something that you could expand into a whole Afghan if you wanted to. You like the back and forth projects? Oh, great for people with ADD. Yeah, I like flipping back and forth. Sometimes it just is too much. Oh, Carla, she is done, completely done and washed and done. She is 100% done with her Splendid Sampler 2 quilt. Carla asked how my mom's Splendid Sampler 2 quilt is going. She's straight done. Oh, that's nice. It's awesome. It looks super great. I got to see it last time we visited. Jealous. It is quilted. It is bound. It is washed. It is done. Oh, actually, it might not quite be done. So she did a black and white quilt, and then, you know, it just had little specks here and there with of some little blue and green that happened to be in the fabric. But for the most part, it's black and white. She's still deciding if she wants to attempt to tea dye it or dye it in some way where it kind of like browns it or kind of gives it a well, like a tea stained look to it. She's not sure if she wants to keep it white and black like how she has it, or yeah, tea stain it. We don't know how to do that yet, but you know, it'd be a fun project or something. So she's deciding yet. Oh, I don't have a photo yet, Carla, but next time I see it, I will make sure to grab a photo. I forgot to do that when we were there last. Yeah, when we were there last, that's when we started this project, and I showed a little bit of it, but I didn't take a nice big flat photo of it. So there's some little video. So if you jumped actually to the, yeah, like an aged look, Gina, and an antique look. Yeah, exactly. So if you jump to the first video in this series, either the first or second one, I can't quite remember. It might be the second one. It's the one that's obviously not my normal setup here. It was the on location one at my parents' house. And in that one, if you scroll through there, I show a bit of the quilt. On the YouTube videos at Penguin and Fish Movies. These are starting to stack up behind me here. I don't know, is this stack lit any smaller? I'm not sure. Like an antique look might be really kind of fun, where you can see some of the crinkle and stuff from where it got dyed a little deeper color than in other places. I don't know. And it's a fully done quilt too. So I don't know how that works for dyeing. I've never dyed anything before. That is a world I have not stepped into yet, so I don't know. First of all, you need something probably big enough to put the whole quilt into. I mean, it's a big quilt and it already has the batting and the backing and all that already. So yeah, I don't know. Anyone has any expertise on dyeing fabric, let me know. Oh, it seems like I've sewn a lot already for the Splendid Sampler. I think I'm in the 30s still of my blocks. Actually, I think I have one unfinished one here. block for the Splendid Sampler too. And I think once I finish that one, I might have 40 completed at that point. So that's halfway. On the bright side, I do have a lot, not a lot, but I do have several of those blocks quilted already, because I'm doing the quilt as you go process. So once my blocks are done, I will almost magically have the whole quilt done. So I'm looking forward to that. As long as I keep up the quilting as I go, when the blocks are done, the quilt will be real close to done. Oh, you put straw or strong tea in a spray bottle? Is that what you said? Oh, you tea dye in your bathtub, Connie. Now that's a big enough place to do that. Okay, I like that. Coffee works too. That's good to know. I am, I suppose I could start saving coffee grounds. That'd be a way to do it. It works outside. You put a big tarp down. Oh, and then steep tea and pour it over the quilt. Oh, well, that's interesting. Just put a tarp down and just drizzle the tea on top, or soak it. Then it would have different textures and stuff. That would be kind of interesting. Huh. Be a fun summer thing to do. Oh, you have a project that you haven't done yet and it calls for instant coffee. Oh, interesting. I like the tarp outside idea, because then you can just transfer it from the tarp to the drying line. You would be standing for hours to get the courage to pour tea on your quilt. Yeah, I'm kind of with you, Gretchen. Unless I knew going in that was going to be my plan. Yeah, I don't know. Real tea dyeing can produce a splotchy finish. Oh, Dharma has tea dye that works much better for... Oh, okay, that's good to know. So it will have like the look of tea dyeing, but be less kind of blotchy. Oh, that's a good question, Jennifer. How does it not just wash out? Is it just stained that much? Or do you have to set it somehow? I guess I have no idea. Yeah, maybe we'll have to give it a try sometime. Maybe we'll have to try a little project on here where we sew something and then dye it after. Actually, you know what? I kind of want to do that for the leaders project that I'm working on. All my sewing leaders that I'm making all those half square triangles for. They're all kind of like wonky colors and all that. I was actually thinking it'd be fun to try that bleach wash. Have you heard of this before? It's not tea dyeing, but you bleach it all somehow, and the colors of the fabric are affected differently with the bleach, but it all kind of brings it all together, like lightens everything and kind of melds it all because everything's lightened. There's not as much contrast. I was kind of thinking that would be interesting. And actually, you guys, I was at a quilt show once, and I just thought these were so beautiful. There was this person that had quilts at a quilt shop that they got, or at a quilt show, and they took like, oh gosh, I don't know if I would ever be able to do this on a vintage quilt, but they took vintage quilts, like, like a what is that, the Lone Star or the Texas Star, whatever it is with those big stars are made out of diamonds, so the hole in the middle of the quilt, it looks like a star. They had taken a vintage quilt top and indigo dyed the whole thing. So imagine that. So it's all indigo dyed. So whatever this quilt used to look like, it now was that like blue jean blue, but it's still the color effect was affected a little differently on different parts of the quilt. So like if there was a darker fabric, that one was a little bit darker than the one next to it still, but it still had this overall blue. It was so beautiful. So I'd maybe have the courage to do that on my own quilt, but I don't think I would ever be able to take a vintage quilt and just over dye it like that. But oh gosh, it was beautiful. It really was pretty. Use a Clorox lens of a spray bottle for oh, Clorox pens. Oh, I don't know what those are. If you dye fabric, get a few big buckets with lids. Oh, put different dye in each bucket. Oh, salt. Oh, I'm gonna have to read the rest of that. I can't read the whole thing. I've seen someone do rust dyeing before too, where you just, I don't know, I'm sure you put some sort of vinegar or something, I don't know, whatever solution, but then you kind of wrap the fabric around different rusty objects, and that turned out pretty cool. Yeah, I that's kind of what I was thinking too, Gretchen, that maybe bleach would weaken the fibers, but it's gotta, I've seen it as like a thing that people have done, and I'm wondering if they have tricks or something. I would definitely do some research before giving it a try. Oh, when you drip bleach on jeans, usually a hole happens. It's got to be like some really diluted something. I have no idea. Never really worked with bleach before either. We'll see. See what happens. Ugh, stack's getting big. Like I see my stack, my pile getting bigger, but I don't see my little stacks of strips and blocks getting smaller. But we got another 10 minutes or so to crank out on these. Hopefully we're at least halfway. We'll see. We'll see tomorrow, I suppose. Yeah, I think dyeing the quilt that I'm making out of old clothes, that would be a fun quilt to give dyeing, like over dyeing, like a strong dye. Um, it'd be fun to try that with that quilt. So maybe I do like an indigo dye of that, or even any color, like even like a bright red dye would be pretty cool, I think. I don't know. That might be a dyeing experiment. The quilt that I'm making out of all my leaders. It's just a pile of half square triangles too, so I think it'd look kind of neat. One of your friends wanted a tea-dyed eyelet lace wedding dress. Ooh, and it resembled an antique dress. Oh, that sounds exciting. Oh, Bonnie, we did get John's glass. So we looked at them and then kind of immediately wrapped them up again. So we want to bring them to, bring my dad's to his and show him that. And then we'll bring John's there too so everyone can see. So I won't be able to share until they get unwrapped again, but John was pretty nervous about breaking them or whatever, so I have not been deemed worthy of sharing the glass stuff yet. Soon, hopefully. I'll have to, if we take some photos of them, I'll post them in the Penguin and Fish Crafters page at least. think we're halfway. Oh, the local quilt shop had a quilt that they overdyed black and white fabric with lime green. Ooh. Well, that sounds interesting. Oh, back in the 70s, you used to tie-dye everything. Oh, fun. Gosh, that'd be kind of fun. Tie-dyeing a quilt, a piece quilt. I never tie-dyed anything, which is a little surprising because you'd think that would have been an 80s thing I would have done. Like at camp or something. I don't know. Okay, this little flip that this fabric is doing is getting annoying again, and it's because my stack is getting really big, so I'm going to just pile up the mountain behind me a little bit more. Hopefully it doesn't keep doing that. I think this stack is getting smaller. Oop, get back in there. Thread. Oh, I like these little rainbow guys. Oh, I'm gonna have to read through what you guys are saying. So you're dyeing fabric with leaves, or did you have to put something on it, or you put dye, you sprayed dye over the leaves? That would be kind of cool. Oh, we're almost to some horsies here. I feel confident that we're a good halfway done, hopefully. I had to count them on when we did the other strip, but I'll just hope that we're halfway this time instead of counting. Oh, you put the leaves down and let the rest of the fabric fade. Oh, interesting. Do I sew much when not on penguin and fish? Oh, it would be quite lonely without us all chatting. So I don't really. That's why I love, I mean, besides, you know, having some company, this really is my only time that I consistently craft. I will, you know, like I'm working on that sheep pillow. That every once in a while, if we're watching a movie, I'll bring that out. But this is basically it. If I'm working on like a big sewing pattern or something like that, then I will I'll work on that. But you know, now when I do those, sometimes I'll do it again here right away with you guys. But yeah, typically how it's been, this is really my only time I've been working on stuff. So it's definitely nice to have the company while I do it. So I have really, now that I'm thinking about it, not been paying attention that these blocks are the same way, like that one's not accidentally rotated, but I feel just from the habit of doing these over and over again that I'm hoping it'll just pop out at me if one of these is wrong. But it just occurred to me that I haven't been paying attention, so we'll see how it all turns out. But I think we've been good so far. But that's the beauty of kind of laying them all out in the same direction and stuff. You can kind of just zone out. It becomes a little bit more relaxing, I think. Oh, come on, little guy. There we go. Yeah, if I'm working on a new pattern or something like that, like a new embroidery pattern or a new sewing pattern, that I'll typically sew on my own. But I'm telling you, that kind of stitching and sewing feels like work. This sewing and stitching does not. So it's a totally different thing in my brain. So the two are kind of separate. You talk things through when sewing, and your hubs thinks I'm talking to him. I think we're, me and my husband are the opposite of that. I think he's usually, except for now, sometimes every once in a while, he probably thinks I'm talking to him maybe, but I think typically it's the other way around. He'll be saying something, and he'll either be on the phone with someone or just be saying something to himself, and I always like, what? What are you saying? Always thinking he's talking to me. Talking to someone else usually. Remember when Bluetooth or just even headsets for phones first came out? I remember it looked like everyone was like, all of a sudden more and more people were just talking to themselves and walking. That was a weird phenomenon. Now that's just, everyone's doing that all the time. You'd almost assume that the talking person is on the phone before you realize they're talking to you. God, that had to be probably 20 years ago when that started to be a thing. I remember John and I lived in New York for a little while, and that had to be almost 20 years ago now. And I think that in my head is kind of when I started seeing that, just random people talking to each other, or just random people talking while they're walking and realizing, oh, they're on a phone. Oh, that's funny, Nolene. It's starting to back up on me again here. Here, fabric. Get on the stack. All right, I think I'm going to do this last one tonight, and this is definitely feeling a lot less, so I'm feeling good about that. And then we will pick this up tomorrow. I'm feeling confident that we can get the rest of these strips done tomorrow, and then on Friday we will press all of this stuff. All right, so I'm going to leave that right there, and we'll get going with the next. So, all right, I'm going to flip you guys around, and we'll call it an evening here. All right, hello. So, okay, here is what I have left. We just got this bitty stack, so I think this was about this high before, so I think we've crested the halfway point here. and our little stack of 8.5 inches left. Okay, that is that. We got our stack going. Hopefully they'll look like this soon. They look so much cuter and finished when it's all framed out like that. So awesome. And then on Finish It Friday, a couple weeks from now, we will, or a week and a half or whenever it is, we will lay all this out, lay these finished blocks on the floor, do our yogas, and figure out where they're all going to sit in the quilt. But next week, we'll be working on the Splendid Sampler 2 again. So I'll get this up on YouTube at Penguin and Fish Movies on YouTube, and I will see you guys tomorrow on the Penguin and Fish Facebook page right here at 8:30 p.m. Central. So thanks again. Nice chit-chatting. Have a great evening.